Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to episode 35 of Cross Button VR, our journey into the world of PSVR2, a show for those who want to share in our newfound enthusiasm for the world of VR. Now, I'm your host, Laurie, but for anyone that really does not pay attention to me, I just want to tell you once again that we are part of the Crossplayers. So if you like this show, why not check out thecrossplayers.com? And there you can find links to all of our content and our Discord. And if you like the show, you should really check out Crosscast, our weekly pod that covers the full gamut of gaming. Now, it is an honour to be joined by just one this time of the most tragically misunderstood influencers in the metaverse. It's Alex.
Hello.
Alex, hello.
Hi.
And Alex, we are joined by a very, very special guest this week. It is none other than the internet's own GamesWithTea, aka Reece.
Hello.
Hi there,
Hello.
GamesWithTea. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Let's go with Reece.
No,
Yeah,
we
broke it already. No, because you're
Yeah,
going to be
how's it
there
going,
doing it the whole time. I'm doing well. I'm doing really good. I'm happy to be here. Really happy.
Yeah,
Do we
well,
need
it's
to add
great
any
to have you
more to
on.
that?
It's good to have you on. No Ben this week for everyone. But we did find another kind of, well, you're not quite a Londoner, but another Southerner to fill the void that Ben leaves in our hearts each week.
Yeah, I
when
did
he's not
think
here.
he was going to go with that. I didn't think he was doing it.
Yeah. So that's cool. So yeah. So Reece, you are someone that you found us. You discovered us online somehow. You listened to the show. You followed my advice when I said join the Discord, get involved. You did. You even joined our Patreon. You are just a super fan, and now here you're on the show. So it is great to have you join in the show. No, he's not laughing. He's laughing at something else he remembered.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's I think you've just impressed us all on our Discord and our Patreon WhatsApp group chatting. Also, obviously, we saw your EGX last week as well. Just your knowledge of VR is frankly puts us to shame. So soon we'll probably just let you take over the whole show, and we'll just
Hey, calm down, Laurie. Don't just become the show me.
Yeah. Don't do that. now you're just making me nervous. Like,
you are a prolific player of PSVR2 games, and you have a YouTube channel. So if you'd like to have a plug of that, go for it.
yeah, so on YouTube it's GWT Games with Tea. I also go on Twitch as well, and that's just for live streaming. I started on that years ago. It was mainly to do charity streams actually back when I started live streaming on there. I used to do Beats every lot, but ever since then it's just kind of went on, and then I started doing YouTube to get into doing reviews and just talk my opinion on VR games, much like you lot do. Anything.
Yeah, and you presumably PSVR2 isn't your first entry into VR.
No.
What systems have you played on previously?
So the first one for me was PSVR1. I started playing that back in, I think it was the end of 2017. So I was not like an early adopter, but I think it was probably about 6, maybe 10 months after its initial release, and I bought it at the wrong time because it just went on a sale after I purchased it, so that was regrettable.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a big sale as well, so that was really I got a bit disappointed with that. But my first VR game was Resident Evil 7. Probably not a great entry into VR. I spent about an hour hiding behind a sofa while the old man on it carried on following me around. But since then, I've just been addicted to VR. Just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, and what is it about VR that you love?
It varies on the game. Like for me, it's being immersed in another world that's not ours. I think that's the one thing that really gets it for me. And then when it comes to like multiplayer games, it's literally like playing a game or just being around your mates and just almost being face to face. I've met so many good people through the VR community, especially through like the original Firewall game. I used to play that. I met my partner on Firewall, so we used to play it together. VR has been a very big part of my life.
I did not realise that. That's cool.
No, it's been a big part of my life since then.
A VR love story. Aww.
Yeah, there's your first.
Yeah. There's a story there.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Shot her in the head and I stole her heart. Oh.
She's the one who revived me a lot, to be fair. Okay. But no, she carried on playing it in leagues when I stopped playing it. So, yeah, it's good.
Alex is just ever so romantic, aren't you, Alex? You're just very lucky husband you've got.
He is.
Very
That
lucky
is, I've
husband.
got a great husband. He is. He just doesn't appreciate how lucky he is.
Yeah, with romance like that. There's
Yeah.
lines like that.
Shooting.
Cool. Well, we've got a fair bit of news to be getting through this week with the two of you. We'll talk about what we've been playing, and as our main topic this week, we are going to go deep dive and have a review of the Seventh Guest, which has come out this week. Alex and I have both been playing it. Reece, you've not got around to it yet, have you?
I have not romantic in it, no.
We will. You're gonna have to just you can quiz us on our thoughts on it, but we've been playing quite a lot of that one, and that's quite. I think that's quite the biggest game that's released on the platform for a while. So it's worth having a deep dive on that one. So let's just start with the news then, and no particular order. These stories, I don't know when each one was announced, but let's just start with Breaches has been announced that's been ported to PSVR2, and that's coming in November. So again, November is starting to get stacked now. As October is, it looks like November is not going to be slowing down either. No. Breaches, Reece, you are a fan of this one, right? This got a big reception.
I've been following the. So when it was first announced on Quest, I took quite a liking to it, mainly because it reminded me a lot of Firewall, and I used to play that quite a lot. But having the whole Rainbow Six aspect of being able to actually breach through windows and things like that, it just it looks really good. So I'm really excited for that one.
Just literally, you're just breaching shit. Then that's the whole focus of the game. Then
I think
I was going to ask, how does this differ from Firewall Ultra and Crossfire and the various others, kind of like Pavlov and stuff?
I think it's more a carbon copy in the way I look at it as Rainbow Six Siege. When you use defend the bomb, it's still a defend and attack type of game, I believe, but in the sense of how it is it's more similar to games like Rainbow Six Siege. Whereas, although Firewall did get compared to that quite a lot, it didn't have the same level to it, like breaching through walls, and there's a lot to it, I think, in the way they've done it. So I'm really excited for
that. It was quite interesting when I tweeted this one out. It's probably one of the ones we've had the most positive reaction to the announcement for. It certainly feels there's a lot of buzz for this. There's a lot of excitement for it coming in November. Potentially off the back of Firewall being... I don't like saying a disappointment, but it's fair to say Firewall's been a big disappointment to a lot of people.
Yeah, it feels like this game's got an opportunity now to swoop in there, or breach in, if you like. Whoa, you see what I did there? It wasn't Reece, sorry. You don't have to.
It wasn't good, wasn't it? It's pretty sure.
All right. But yeah, sorry, it has an opportunity now to come in there and become the multiplayer shooter type of thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have kind of said that to the Firewall devs when Breaches was announced, which is a shame in a sense because I was really excited for Firewall. Like, I played the original for about 3 years straight, so I was really excited for it. And I just feel like, for me, the original is still better. No.
Yeah, wow. I mean, you say that you feel bad for the devs, but I mean, they did choose to release the game in a pretty shoddy state, to be fair. And whatever the reasons, I'm sure they would have known it. I feel like for Firewall now, they need to they'll have a hardcore community that I'm sure they're giving lots of feedback on. They're probably getting lots of patches. At some point, they're going to need to do a 2.0 release, a bit like Cyberpunk, but hopefully sooner than Cyberpunk managed it. Just have a big now, if you bought the game and bounced straight off of it, now's the time to come back, and we've got some new maps or new enhancements and new modes and stuff. And now's the time to get people to come back again and give it a second chance, because they need to iron out everything now and just get it perfect before they can really appeal to people to come back and have another look at it again. But anyway, Breaches, come on.
Breaches, not Firewall, Breaches.
It's coming back. It's got some adaptive triggers, support, trophies, enhanced visuals. So the usual kind of
and most importantly,
upgrades that comes with PSVR2. Okay, yeah, that would help.
Yeah, so
crossplay, is that with Meta and PC VR and anything else?
Yes, I don't know if it's coming to Steam VR or if it's already on there. I'm not too sure on that one. But I'm sure if it does come to Steam VR or if it's already on there, that would be included as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that's Breaches. That's coming out in November. Next up, we had a reveal, and it's almost like basically a shadow drop of Box to the Beat. Reece, you've been playing that, haven't you?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to shit on it because but it's
Sorry, you
similar
can swear.
to.
You've met
cool.
Alex, right? You know what it's like.
Yeah, that's true. So it's very similar to games like, I'd like to say it's a mixture between Les Mills and Beat Saber.
Lemmy, yeah.
No, it's a Les Mills.
So that's why I
Only
call
on
it.
here. Only on here.
I mean, I was never going to get that right, was I? So it's a bit of a combination between them two. But while playing it, the one thing that kind of threw me off is that you're playing this boxing game where you're hitting the things coming towards you, but yet it's coming out of a portal that a dragon is overseeing, and it just feels like the art style doesn't really match what I'm playing. If you get what I mean. The dragon looks really cool, and so does the portal. I've got no issue with it. It just feels like it's two separate games put together.
A bit random.
Yeah, and you also have like a little pet dragon that you can level up and he grows bigger.
That all sounds. I mean, I'm up for a dragon game.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Is like, is this? I just don't know if it was. They had two ideas and they kind of went, let's put it together. I don't know. The soundtrack though, although I can't see any really big like artists on there or anything like that, it's actually a really good soundtrack for what it is. And I think a lot of the time with games like this they release a soundtrack that doesn't always hit. But no, this one's pretty decent.
So I guess are you going to be reviewing this one on your channel?
Yeah. I'm going to be working on a review over this weekend and hopefully get something out next week.
Okay, cool. I can look forward to seeing your further thoughts on your channel though. But yeah, it's good. I mean, we didn't even know about this, did we? It was just kind of announced and then revealed. So
I knew about it.
Oh, okay. You know
We know about everything.
It's been on the store for a little while. We just didn't know the release date, but it has been there, and it just suddenly released because I think I noticed like it was out, and then I'm like, oh, there it is.
See, too many games. I can't keep track of them all. Too many games on this platform.
I think that's the strange thing for me. Like, why just go and release a game on a day when there's so many games coming out around it, so many things? You're like, but we'll just release it right in the middle of this period with no run up, no nothing. Let's just drop it out there.
But I mean, to be fair, it's not like there are any quiet times on the platform though. So you think, well, it's ready now. We need the money to come in, so let's just get it out. There's not going to be a quiet time of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess it's an impossible situation, really.
But I'll be trying that one as well. See how it is.
It's good fun, and if you like the other type of boxing games, I think you'll be Phil Ryan. So
yeah, I mean, Les Mills is a bit like I don't know. I don't know the right word. It's quite sort of clinical almost. It has those kind of weird Beyond on the Moon or that Japanese garden settings and stuff, but it is quite kind of clinical. It's nothing sort of mad happens in it. So yeah, if I was doing Les Mills and then a fucking dragon just swooped down and started breathing fire everywhere, I'd be like, fuck, this is just not cool. I'm feeling this now. So yeah, maybe I could see the appeal of that.
Yeah, it's interesting, I suppose.
So cool. So Box for the Beat. All right. That's what we want. Interesting. Next up, another game which launched in a bit of a sorry state and has since had a bit of a redemption is Switchback VR, which had a new update announced this week as a new Horde mode. And I think there might be some other various improvements and bits and bobs on there as well, bug fixes and stuff. But yeah, the new Horde mode, so designed, which is great because it's a sort of not that longest game to play through. And so to have an extra mode that is essentially you can play forever, and it does the those weeping angel statues things that you can't look at, blink at, and the bosses. I think it just puts in there. So just it's quite cool to have a kind of an endless runner mode added to it, essentially. So that was a nice idea. Again, one of those things you think, that would have been. Why wasn't that there at launch? That seemed like a good idea to include that, because that was, I think, one of the complaints at launch is like there's not that much to it really.
Yeah, I haven't played it since launch.
Well, we played it when it was almost relaunched with its big this is the big update that kind of polishes it. And Ben had some trouble with I think he had essentially a game breaking bug. He could not defeat a boss no matter what. Either that or he's just really, really bad at the game. But I think it's the former. But I played it. I did a couple of the levels, and I really liked it. I really impressed it, and I do want to get back and play more of it because I really enjoyed it. And the only complaint for me is that the levels are almost like too long. I wish there was more shorter levels, or each level's broken up into sort of sub levels, because you could have like a theme and then have like 1, 2, 3 levels in it, in each theme. So the first one in the ship and the second one in the town and stuff. And
split it up a little bit.
That'd be my only complaint. But I know I really liked it, and I think it's a good game. And so I think it's one of those games where if you look at a review of it or just watch the trailer of it, really, I think you watch the trailer of it, you can see exactly what this game is. There's no surprises on it, and if you like the look of the trailer, I think you'd like this game. That I've given this is a great game to give to people when they come around and just want to try VR for the first time, and if they like the horror, because it's such a sort of silly, fun game. It's very easy to play. It's on rails. Literally, you are on a roller coaster. So all you've got to do is just point and shoot things. It's so like bringing back at like a theme park on those light gun rides that you have in theme parks.
Yeah, I enjoyed it on launch, to be fair, but I just never got back around to it since the updates.
Well, I'll give it a go, Reece.
Yeah, I did play through it all, so I'll go through it again.
Next up, we have had a release date for Kill It With Fire VR, and that's coming on November the 7th. Again, continuing the run of releases in November.
I need to get my list updated.
You do, Alex. Yeah, it has been noted. Yeah, I was thinking, I wish I had a list of things that I can see what's coming up, because, yeah.
That's what you're behind, isn't it? Because you haven't got the list.
Yeah, it's Alex's fault. Obviously, there's been tons of releases in the last week or so. There's still quite a few more still to come. We've also got Ghostbusters coming. Is it next week? Ghostbusters,
26th.
So there's a big release next week. Will be Ghostbusters. But yeah, November again still seems to be very busy with things. Kill It With Fire, and also Peaky Blinders, which we talked about a few weeks ago. Was kind of revealed. It seemed like it was revealed accidentally because it was then unrevealed and sort of hushed up a little bit, and it's now been re-revealed and confirmed that it is coming in November as well. So yeah, Kill It With Fire VR and Peaky Blinders. Either of those on either of your radars?
Not really, if I'm honest.
I watched Kill It With Fire when it was originally released on like PC as a flat game. It didn't really interest me too much, but again, I find VR games doing that interesting me more when they haven't previously. Peaky Blinders, I'll give it a go, but I've not seen the series, so I don't know if it'll click with me as much as other games.
Okay. And then one game that was due out in October but has been delayed is Phasmophobia, which has been delayed, I think it's kind of indefinitely. They've not said how long it's going to be. I think they said in the post that they hope it's to be, they want to keep that delay as short as possible, but they've not even given any indication as to how long or short that means. So, yeah, I mean, I guess in the run that we've had of games releasing in not a good state, I am all for delaying it as long as it needs to, even if it's like a year away. Don't release any more broken games, because it is starting to do the hardware no favours if all these releases, especially kind of high-profile ones, arrive and are broken.
Yeah, I mean, they delay it as long as it needs, and I know they have had some issues. They had a fire in their studio and stuff like that. That kind of set them back a bit, and but yeah, delay it as long as it needs. We do not need any more broken games.
And there's enough games coming at the moment anyway, so I mean, they're not missing anything by not releasing it at the moment.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're gutted they missed that Halloween window.
Definitely.
I mean, we still technically have, although I think we still don't have a date for Marriage in VR. They just said Halloween.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
That's still to come. And Happy Funland's due next week as well. We've just had Propagation, Paradise Hotel. Lots of scary games out there, so save Phasmophobia for another time.
Yeah, Propagation. That's another game that I've played a few hours of and need to get back to. It's just I'm drowning in all these games that we're able to play at the moment. And Reece, you've played Propagation, haven't you? You were a big fan of that.
Yeah, I finished it this week, and it's not for the faint of heart, is it?
No, it's different. I mean, these guys have been giving me grief to like play this game, and I was like, okay, I need to play it. And yeah, it's definitely is a proper horror game, and there's lots of jump scares, lots of creepy doors. It really just freaks me out every time a door closes behind me, and it makes that creaky sort of slams behind you, and you're like, oh god, you have to look around to make sure nothing's heard you.
I was just constantly saying to myself, why am I doing this?
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed it, but yeah, it's scary. It is. I can say that.
I mean, so at least with these other games being delayed or no actual release windows, and there's been some other games like that was a Happy Funland, which is kind of a horror game, but it's kind of more of a comedy kind of aspect to that as well, isn't there? And then Seventh Guest kind of falls into that spooky thing, but we're not really in a horror setting at all. So I think Propagation Paradise Hotel, that is the game if you want some proper jump scares this Halloween. If you want to invite people around and make them play something scary and laugh at them as they scream, I think it's this, and probably Switchback as well would be the obvious ones to stick people into. Cool. And then the final bit of news would be Racket Fury, which also got a release date. Looks like it's out today, wasn't it, or just the next day?
It wasn't out today, one.
Yeah, we knew that was coming, but there was one that was just dropped immediately. Alex, have you had a chance to play that one yet?
I haven't quite managed to play it yet. I had hoped to play it today, but there's too many games came out today. I didn't have a chance.
Today's been a big game. Yeah, let's talk about non-VR stuff, shall we? No, hold on. But Reece, you have played a bit of Racket Fury. So what are your initial impressions?
I like it, but I think I've got to get used to the paddle and how gently to tap it, kind of thing. Because I was like hitting it, and I was like, the balls went miles away, and yeah, it's just little gentle taps. But no, it looks good.
Yeah.
I'm quite looking forward. Sorry, I'm looking forward to trying this because I have this to play and I have 11 VR to play, and the mixed reality mode as well, like on the Quest. So I'm quite looking forward to comparing and contrasting the two of them. Because I quite like the idea of seeing people like on the Quest going and playing on a table tennis table and mixed realities, and they're playing the game over a real table tennis table. Like, that's just bizarre, but it's so fun.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
Why not? Like, I want to do it over the kitchen table. I'm going to go and set up at the kitchen table and imagine them playing somewhere at the other side of the kitchen
It's quite
table.
cool, but I suppose you can play it on your own, can't you? Which you can't do it on a normal tennis table.
Pretend you've got friends and you
can pretend you're actually quite good at it, and then you take the headset off and try and play it. You think, actually, no, shit.
The upsetting thing you said there was
I want to play both and compare the two of them. But it does seem like a good upgrade for what they're offering. It's like a full campaign mode with 4 cups, online multiplayer across the 3 regions, online leaderboards, crisp visuals at 120 Hz with no reprojection. We're starting to understand what that means. Still don't really know what it means, but that's good. Idea. That's a good thing. Arcade and sim modes and 1000 Hz physics refresh rate for more accurate simulation. So, I mean, that's big numbers, so that must be good. But it came with the downside to this was the PSVR1 game. People probably expected there to be an upgrade path or a free upgrade, and it's neither, and it's more expensive than the PSVR1 game was. So they've justified the amount of time it's taken them to the improvements in that for why they've increased the price, and they've basically said because this was given away as a PS Plus game, they can't track who actually bought it and who got it on PS Plus to be able to offer a paid upgrade, which I don't believe, because we've seen things in the past. Like, I remember, was it the Final Fantasy VII upgrade that if you'd bought the game you could upgrade it, but if it was a PS Plus game you didn't get the upgrade in other ways. So there must be ways of splitting this stuff out. So whether it's they can't do it themselves and Sony aren't willing to help them, or they're just using it as an excuse, I don't know, but it does feel a little bit in bad taste.
But also, like, if they did it on PS Plus, they would have been paid for that by Sony. So then let people upgrade it, and then they're still getting paid again for the people. We're not getting a game through PS Plus. That's not a free game. I've paid for PS Plus for the year. So
exactly.
It's not a lot you're getting, but Sony is still paying that for everyone to have that game, and they're giving a big old suitcase full of cash to the developers, I hope.
Suitcase.
So, yeah, or other methods are available. So, yeah, it seems a bit churlish to say, well, if you've got it on PS Plus, you can't use the upgrade payment. It's like, well, I'm still willing to pay you some more money, and I've paid for it in a roundabout way, kind of through Sony before. But how much is it anyway? Do we know?
It's $24.99, I think. So it's not.
It's quite a lot of money,
cheap. It's $29.99, but I think in pounds it was $24.99. Pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because other games have been on PS Plus have done an upgrade path as well for PSVR2. So I mean, I don't know. I still think they could have done it just because. But
Paper Beasts didn't it? Because that had been given.
Yeah, Paper Beasts did, yeah.
That had an upgrade pass. Yeah.
Yeah. That was That's a free game. Cool. Good. Right, well, let's chat about what... Go on, Tom. You got something else for me?
Yeah. It's not really news, right? We're going to put it in the news section. Right, so... Our friends at Pixel Magnet put out a little tweet, and you know how much I love our friends at Pixel Magnet and their amazing game. So the Masternoid team reached 4,000 players, and I just wanted to say congratulations to them. I'd say once again, people, please go and play Masternoid because you'll love it. You will. Okay. Public service announcement over. Thanks, Laurie. Back to the show.
No, it's a good announcement, and I don't know, is that a good number or not? It seems, I'd love to know how much some of these games...
It's not a big number to many people, but they seem happy with it, and it's nice to see them getting the player numbers going up because they deserve it. They've made a really good game there, and the more people that know about it, the better.
Yeah, I wish it's one that you think sort of deserves some visibility. You see some of the TAC games that when you log onto the PS store on the PSN, some sort of absolutely rubbish games that have that visibility, they get that profile in there, and it just would be great, kind of easy way for Sony to give these developers who are supporting their platform a leg up, just to give them a bit of visibility on the store.
Yeah,
and it certainly needs it because it's such an easy game to understand and to look at and to like and stuff. You just watch a trailer of it. The music's great. It looks visually striking. So
yeah, the music for me was probably one of my favourite things. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved the music. I could just sit there and just listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, I just played it just to get Alex off my case, to be honest. But yeah, no, it's a good soundtrack for sure. For sure. Right, before I move on, Alex, do you have anything else, Alex, before?
No, that's me, sorry. I promise not to interrupt you again.
No, you can interrupt me who you like, that's fine. Any other news that I've missed? Reece, can you think of anything? No.
No, we've already discussed.
No, good. All right. No. Well, don't worry. If you think of anything, you can interrupt me later on. We'll come back to news. So, what have we been playing? I'm going to start this because other than Super Mario Wonder, which I've been playing a lot of today with my son, as soon as he got home from school, we've been playing through the first few worlds together. Really, really good game. Obviously not a VR game, but still bloody good game.
Would be nice.
But on VR, I have been playing a fair bit of Seventh Guest, which we'll talk about in a minute when we review it. But other than that, I have been playing quite a lot of the first Red Matter game, which also landed on the headset a week or so ago. I think.
Couple of weeks
ago.
First week in October.
Bloody hell, I love this game. It's so good. It's well, I imagine it's probably quite similar to Red Matter 2, which Alex, obviously you love. And I don't know how far I've got in it. I don't think this game's as long as the second one. I think I'm probably about halfway through it. But this is kind of what I love in VR. I love these sorts of. It just puts you in a completely different setting and world, and it's just very, very believable simulation. It's the graphics are. I don't know, like they feel kind of almost photorealistic in part because I've never been on a Russian space station on the moon, so I don't have any kind of basis of comparison. It looks real. The lighting on it is absolutely spectacular. That is the one thing. Even in the very first scene when you land on this moon, you could just the lighting on it is just really, really striking. And then inside this base, there's lots of emergency lighting that's been set up and stuff, and it illuminates everything in these gorgeous shadows. And it's so crisp as well. When I play stuff like someone was tweeting me about Propagation Paradise Hotel and saying, it is a bit kind of softer focus and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that is a fair comment on the game. It's a bit kind of, you get that kind of Mura effect a bit more with it.
Yeah.
Whereas this I could not. It's just such a gorgeous game to look at. It's so crisp and the colours are so vibrant. The lighting is so nice and it looks so realistic. And I'm like, this is a small team that's made this. Presumably, it's quite a small developer. This is the standard that I kind of expect and want all of the games that I'm playing to be reaching now, because it's just such a polished experience. It works flawlessly. I've not had any bugs or anything. It's like the second one where you have your two little hand device things that you can change the settings on, so it can be a scanner or it can be a picker up a thing, or it could be a torch, and then the other one's got a move setting on it as well.
And I assume it's the same, like those the grabbers and that, they were my favourite, probably my favourite. I want to say hands, but it's not hands, like controllers or anything in any game I've played. Like I think because they're so detailed, they are like almost replicas of the Sense controllers, but they're so
Yeah.
well done. And I think Vertigo Robot really know what they're doing. Like these guys are really showing the way and like setting a standard that people really need to hit. And you don't expect a little, as you say, a little studio like that to be the ones that are really leading the way, but they are. And credit to them, they've done a great job with these two games.
And this is really taught me playing this, and also Seventh Guest we'll come on to. But this is what I want to be doing in VR. It's you're putting me in a setting. It's telling an interesting story, a mystery, and it's going around these various rooms. You're solving puzzles essentially. That is the kind of gameplay. You're working out how to open doors, and sometimes you might have to a bit of kind of puzzle sort of platforming, almost navigating around the environment, pulling down platforms for you to. Sort of raising up and down lifts to sort of make a path to get to some fuse box that you need to flick a switch on and stuff. So part of it's that. Part of it is when you're just sort of faced with a load of kind of pipes that you have to open and close valves off, or some switches or things, or you've got like some circuits that you need to put some fuses into and stuff, and you've got to put them in the right spot. So it's that kind of problem solving, and you can only do that in VR. You can't do that in a non-VR game, because you can't sit there and like it just would just show you on screen. Or you get like it's equivalent of, like in that first Spider-Man game on PS1 where you had those awful mini games where you have to kind of do the kind of experiments in the lab and stuff. And it was just this was just irritating waste of time and filler, just complete filler. But that's kind of how, if you're doing it in non-VR, it ends up being like that. But in VR, you can have really interesting things where you're picking things up and interacting with them and tinkering with things. Tinkering is that's what I love about it. It's just, I just love like interacting with these objects, tinkering, making stuff happen, slotting things in, pulling big levers, pressing buttons. That is just such a kind of pushes my buttons, literally, if you like. There, it's that kind of childlike, just tinkering with like big machines and toys. It just feels like sort of toys for adults. So if I think of the toys that my kids like, or the kids that my toys have that I like to play with as well, it's the ones with kind of big chunky buttons and levers on it and stuff. It's those sorts of the things that
Skill toys, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm really into that sort of stuff. But it's just kind of like the sort of modern. This is like the grown-up equivalent of that, where you're doing it in this really realistic space setting, which is, and it's not. That's what I love about VR. I could not experience something like this in real life, in a non-VR game. It's just totally unique, and it's just totally captivating simulation. It's just totally believable. It's like when you go to the theatre and you just kind of suspend your disbelief, because you're like, okay, I know I am playing a game here, but I'm so absorbed in it. I'm so immersed in this environment. I'm just concentrating and focusing on what I'm doing, and then as the story plays out, it's just one of those things where you realise like, oh shit, I've been playing this for like 2 hours now. I need to go to bed. Like
it's easy to do in VR.
And this is the sort of thing that I want to be spending my time on.
Yeah. I think you've explained it really well there as well. Like hearing how much it's taking you out of like just the real world for you. It's just great to hear, because like I still get that wow factor when I put on the VR headset and play a game for the first time to this day. And I tried about 10-20 minutes of it, and I'm just getting used to the puzzle mechanics really. But no, it feels really good. It is really detailed, and as Alex said, they have set the bar, I think, for VR games. I think a lot of developers need to look at it and go, this is what we need to aim for.
Yeah. My only issue I've got with it is that there are, like, Alex, you can tell me if the second one's like this as well, where you have to, because everything's into kind of Russian characters all over the wall, and you've got your little hand scanner, and you can scan it, and it has a little screen on your controller thing that pops up and tells you what the words say and stuff. And you kind of have to use that to solve the puzzles, because it's like it shows you on the wall, this is how you solve it, and you have to kind of scan everything to work out. Okay, that's the power relay. That's the bypass system. It's just all just like made up.
I don't feel like you need to do as much of that in a second, if I'm honest. I don't think there's as much deciphering. But
I'm deciphering stuff, and I'm having to read a lot on this thing, and I'm like, oh God. And I think just because I've been playing it quite late at night, and I've just been quite tired this week. Just been quite hungover all week. it's like, oh God, this is starting to make me feel like too tired and sort of eye straining to be constantly keep reading this one. So that's my only thing to point out, is just if you're playing it and you're kind of doing quite a long session when you're tired, I think it's one to play when you're either not tired or just in smaller bursts. But you are going through the space station. You are kind of going through room by room, trying to work out how to get to the next room, into the next room, to the next room. So you can play it as a kind of, oh, well, I've cleared this room now. I've got through to the next part of it. I've moved the story on. This is a good point to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It plays really well. I liked it. I've not played the second one though, so I can't comment on that one.
Second one's brilliant.
Yeah, it did look really good.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm so glad I waited to play the second one so I can finish this one, pick
That's
up
what I
all
was
the
waiting for as well.
and then go straight into the second one. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing. Red Matter, really like it. Have either of you been playing anything else that we have not talked about yet?
Probably worth talking about Walkabout Mini Golf.
Oh,
so I have played the Widow's Walkabout new course, and it's essentially my favourite Walkabout Mini Golf course.
Wow.
They've just nailed it. They have absolutely nailed it. It's funny. It's not scary. I've seen people like I was so scared. I'm like, it's like it's not scary. Like, but it's like there's so many little nods to like classic horror, like all these little random things around the place. But it's so imaginative. Like, there's a lot of like movement in it. So the courses and holes themselves change. Like, so you know how you can have like little ramps and stuff to go over in the courses. Like with the music, they get larger and smaller as you're kind of timing it to hit. So it could be a big slope or then it could be a small slope. But also the course it changes size as you're trying to hit it, so it gets bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. Some of the holes move as you're trying to hit it. Like it's just a really gone all in my imagination in this one, and it works. Like it's just so fun. The soundtrack's really good, the setting's really good. Like one of the holes you're on top of, like this big huge dining table, like this kind of gothic dining table with all these plates on top, but the plates become the obstacle because they're all haunted and they're all moving around, and you need to kind of guide the ball between the plates to get to the hole. And it's classic Walkabout. They've just smashed it out of the park again. Like it's so good, so good.
So
I can imagine playing
that.
this as a group at Halloween. You'll have such a laugh.
We should have to do that. We'll have to make sure as a group we all do that. It's so impressive how they keep churning out these courses, and they're so different and come up with different ideas, and it's just such a great formula they've got. They can just do anything in it and just keep the same gameplay the same, but just transport it to a whole different setting, and it just makes it feel all new again.
And I think even just, I'm not going to say much more about it, but do you know you get that when you go out in the scoreboard and it's like goes into the little model of the course?
Yeah.
And it looks like this proper little like doll's house model of this haunted house, kind of. It's when you go out and it just looks great. Like it's just brilliant. If you've not bought many DLCs and you want a DLC and you want something fun to play with your friends at Halloween, then buy this for $3.99. Like you won't regret it at all.
Awesome.
I'll have to grab that one.
So that's Walkabout.
Cool. That's Walkabout. Any other games we've been playing?
Oh, tennis. I forgot about tennis.
Tennis is tennis on court.
Tennis on court. Your favourite named tennis game ever, Laurie.
Love the name of that game. Tennis on court, as opposed to playing tennis like in a ditch or
off court.
Tennis off court. Yeah, that would be.
The street tennis.
Yeah. Tennis in the street.
So this has been a funny one, because the game's come out and then it got delayed because there was some bugs that they didn't seem to be appear about, and then I think it was probably PSVR without Parole's review that really kind of put the willies up them a wee bit, because they gave him a 3.5 and they're like, what are you talking about? What? Like, what's these bugs? We've not seen these bugs. Like,
yeah.
And so they went back and they patched it, and it seems to be, so Ben's played it, I've played it, we had quite different experiences. I then spoke to Craig at Pure Dead Gaming who had played it. He had a flawless experience, and it just seems some people are getting these bugs and some people aren't getting these bugs, and there's no real explanation for why it's happening. But I think we shared a video of Ben playing it on Twitter, and it was funny because some of the other guys jumped on it and it was like, this is the ultimate Halloween experience because you're just in this dead court, all these
crowds watching you in silence,
staring at you, these funny eyes. And Ben's hit the shot, The shot has fallen, stopped on his side of the court, but it hasn't registered the stopping, so he had to go up, hit the ball into the net, so it went out for the other guy to win the point, and you're like, oh, this is bad. But then I've played it, and I did have a few bits, and they have come along and patched it, and the patch does seem to have improved it. And I had no issues. It's fine. I was playing it. I was enjoying it. You can play it between...
So just coming out of them with no issues, and let's give them the benefit of the doubt now. If someone was listening to this now and think, oh, I really like tennis games, I would have picked it up.
I think you'd like it.
Yeah, they would like it,
Yeah.
right? Does it play a good tennis simulation
It's a good,
now on court?
And you've got two modes, a bit like the table tennis we were talking about earlier. You've got the arcade mode and you've got the simulation mode, so you can kind of play it whatever way you want to play it, but plays well, like quite intuitive. Like I skipped the tutorial. I thought I'm just going to try and play it. It's a tennis game. How hard can it be? And it was fine. Like, so you throw the ball up, you hit it, your backhand, forehand, you double hand, change it. You can change the angle of the racket to do the different types of shot. And it plays nicely. It's quite difficult. It takes a wee bit of time to get used to it before you're winning the games. But I feel like that was the same in flat tennis games. It would take you a good few matches before you started being able to win. But it's fine. Like, multiplayer is probably where you're going to have the most fun with it. There's no real proper career mode or anything, which I think lacks. I think it could do with that kind of single player career mode experience to justify. Because again, I think it's like £25. It's not a cheap game from a VR perspective. Like when you're hitting that kind of mid 20 to 30 quid in a VR game, that's the upper end. So I feel like it would have probably done a wee bit more content to justify the price tag. But it looks nice, the setting's nice, the courts are nice, plays well. So if you like tennis, you'll enjoy it, as long as you don't get these bugs, which I think they have hopefully washed most of them. People who did then pick it up, I haven't heard them. So some of the guys that listen, I chatted to a bit back and forward on Twitter and seemed to be getting on okay with it. The main disgruntlement was around the lack of career mode more than anything. So if you like tennis, you'll probably like it.
And you said it was PSVR2 without parole that gave it a bad review.
Yeah, I'm sure they gave it 3.5 out of 10.
Yeah, he went pretty
feel
hard
like
on
I feel bad for the developers because obviously that's quite a big voice in the community there, and people will be listening to that thinking, oh yeah, no one to skip. But if they have been able to go and say, well, just patch it, find the issues, sort them out, and they're quite isolated, you kind of want them to be able to say to the outlets, well, can you re-review it now and just play it as it is now? Because that's the game you played isn't what the experience people will get now, so you're not given a kind of accurate impression. But of course, like, where do you end with that? Like, if games keep getting patched and
that is true.
But it just feels like really harsh, just like on a people that are playing stuff before release or just shortly after release, and they're getting that terrible experience. They've got to be honest about that. They can't just ignore the fact that they're getting these bugs. But then if it is something that is then fixed, you think why could you not have play tested this more? And if it was that easy to fix so quickly, it just seems such a shame for them. It's like gutted for them if it is a really good game and they just kind of, just fluff the landing on getting it out launched.
I suppose you almost
double fault, if you will.
You almost need to give them the benefit of the doubt that they have play tested it, like they say they have, and they haven't experienced these and tested, and going by like consensus and speaking to different people, it doesn't seem to be like everyone's getting the same issues. So why it's suddenly happening, and whether they've tweaked something after all the testing, which is just put a little bug in there somewhere or whatever, who knows? Yeah. But it's a shame, and I agree. But at the same time, you need to test and review the game that you're given. So you can't.
For sure.
The products on release is what you need to kind of give your thoughts on. This, not what it's going to be in 5 months' time, or in this case, a few days.
I just feel bad because I think with the developers, they're small, tend to be smaller teams. They're much more communicative. We get devs on here quite regularly and stuff, and it's great to have to talk to them and have that kind of access to them all. And you just see that they're just trying their best. They're trying to put out a game, and they are. You wouldn't. I'm sure they would like to be mortified to know that there was a bug in the game that's gone out, and that's souring people's impressions of it. Of course, they would have put so much years and passion. It's not like when Assassin's Creed game comes out and it's got like really funny bugs where people's eyes pop out their heads and stuff. It's Ubisoft. There's like 1,000 people who made that game. People are going to buy millions of copies of that game. Like, it's fine that you can mock them, but when it's these smaller people, it's just smaller teams. I just feel like, oh God, I feel so bad for them. I
did at least try when I was tweeting about it. I'm like, this is what we've experienced, but speaking to other people now, it doesn't seem to be widespread. They are patching it. We'll test
You
it
did,
again
yeah.
after patch, and we'll at
You
least
were.
to try and be fair on it, because I didn't want to be like, by the way, this game, avoid it, and then at least kind of tried to keep people up to date. And this was the case. This is now what's happened, and it seems to be a better product that is out there. So don't let everything put you
Yeah.
off. But
Yeah, you were fair, in fairness to you. Cool. All right, well, it's been a busy week of games we've been playing then. There's one other more we need to talk about. Unless, Reece, you've got anything up your sleeve?
No, the only other game I've played on and off probably this week here and there is Gazlas. I keep jumping back on that. I can't seem to shake it, even after reviewing it. I still keep going back and playing it. I think they've just done an
that's a
update
good
for it
sign.
as well.
You finished it, yeah?
Yeah, actually, I did finish the RAW, and I think they've just done an update for it. I think it's dropped today as well. So I don't know what that's added. I think they've added a few little new things.
Nightmare mode, I think, I saw.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give that a go when I finish here tonight.
Oh, nice. Well, it must be doing something right if it's pulled you in with all this other stuff that's out there. It's still drawing you back in, so that's great to hear.
Definitely.
Cool. Well, we've got one other game we want to talk about, but before we do, I just want to let everyone know if they'd like to support us, they can give this podcast a sub on the service they're using, and if they'd like to leave us a review too, please do. That would be lovely if they could. And follow us on Twitter at CrossButtonVR and at the Crossplayers. And if you really want to show the love, you can do like Reece did and join us via patreon.com/the Crossplayers and just help us produce the show and just pay for things, and gain entry into our lovely little WhatsApp group. Reece, how's that working out for you being in that group? Bit weird, yeah, a bit weird. Sorry about that. Some
First
days,
few days, yeah. Some days are odd. Some other days, you get genuine conversations.
Yeah. And then you pick up your phone and you've got like 300 messages. You're like, what the fuck's been going on here? But
that was the first few days. I was like, whoa.
yeah, switch off notifications for it. But
I did that. I learned.
Yeah. Cool. But no, I hope. Well, we've not put you off.
It's a lovely group. It really is.
Cool. Well, let's talk about the game that we've been playing, this week's big release, and that's The Seventh Guest. Which, Alex, have you now finished it? Oh no, nearly. Well, we'll come on to that, I suppose.
Yeah, well.
You've nearly finished it. Well, Alex, I'll let you take the lead on introing this game. Go on.
Yeah, so The Seventh Guest VR is essentially a puzzle-solving mystery game, which was a reimagining, probably the best way of describing it, of a classic 90s, was it CDI game, PC game back in the day? Yeah. So basically you are trying to uncover the mystery of this night back however many years ago when this abandoned hotel house, more of a manor really, isn't it?
Yeah,
mansion. But it's telling you the story through, I'm going to get this word wrong now, what is it, I'll look it up in a minute, but through this method of motion capture that they've used through these like ghoulish like characters that appear to explain the story after you solve the puzzles to essentially pass you on to the next bit of narrative. And I think it's brilliant. Like, I think we probably had a fair idea we were going to like this game. It was one of those ones that quite anticipated. You set off, you're on this little boat, it's you're approaching this mansion and you're hearing this voice in your head kind of trying to tell you a story. So you set off and you've got a lamp in your right hand which you use to essentially, you're almost rewinding the time. So if you shine the lamp on the different parts of the mansion, it shows you what it was like back at the time of the story. So it can repair things, it can show you hidden secrets, it
can pull things through time as well, can't it?
Yeah, pull things through time.
That's cool.
And you basically use this lamp to discover the secrets and usually the lamp is there to point you towards what you need to do in the puzzles.
Yeah, it uncovers hints as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it can uncover the hints. So but I think what's really impressed me is the variety in the puzzles. You essentially, like, kind of closing the title, The Seventh Guest, is you're going through the stories of each of the guests that were here on this night, and it was ultimately this kind of setting where they were here to try and win a competition by Stouff, who was this toy maker who was setting up this elaborate competition for these guys to come in and try and win his company or become a partner in his company or something. I don't want to give too much away and kind of
so I'm probably a couple of hours into it, 2 or 3 hours into it, and yeah, there's this kind of a prize for whoever can solve the puzzles by morning. Someone will be walking out with a prize and stuff, and that's all the setup is. You don't know what the prize is at first anyway. I don't know what the prize is yet. So then you're going from room to room solving puzzles, and again it's very like you have to interact, manipulate things. Now you messaged me when you've been playing it and you were like, look guys, you need to play this game seriously, you guys are gonna love this. It's like, I don't know if you tried it, you tried like the room with a story.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to ask.
When we played the room VR, we played that a couple of months ago, and we all absolutely loved it. Right, it's within our kind of list of top games on the platform. We really loved that game. And when you said that, I was like, oh, okay, I was looking forward to playing this, but now I really want to play it. And you are absolutely spot on in that each room has a set of puzzles, and one will lead to another, and then completing one. Sometimes they're kind of sequential, sometimes not. But they're all very similar, like those kind of, they're puzzles, and you look at them and you think, and like the room, you can get a hint, and you get 2 hints, and then I think if you want a third hint, you can just solve the puzzle, which is kind of, that took me a surprise actually, because I thought it was just going to give me like a really obvious hint, but no, it just kind of solved the puzzle there in front of me. And I was like, oh shit, okay. So beware if you're going to use that really is it just, you're essentially skipping the puzzle. So I think it gives you 2 free hints that are a bit more kind of cryptic and vague.
And I suppose just on that point, I'm not actually free hints, because you can only use the hints if you've found the coins. So the coins that you find as you go round. So I think there's 50 coins to find throughout the mansion, and you need basically those coins as your currency to use hints. So if you get no coins left, you can't get a hint.
It's a good way to do it.
Yeah. And again, finding those in the rooms, it's sort of really encourage you to sort of have a little poke around in all the little corners of the rooms, looking things, open things up and look inside them. It's so gratifying when you find one. That part of the game on its own, I'm enjoying just looking in the room, because in each room, I think there's 2 in every room that I've been in so far. I don't know if there's more that I'm not seeing, but I'm sort of always expecting to see at least a couple. And yeah, it's so, and in each room you're solving these puzzles, and each time you solve a puzzle, it kind of plays out a bit more of the story. And like you say, it's those kind of holograms that appear of the people in the room, and it plays out a little sequence. And they look photorealistic, right? They look completely the real, the way they've been their performances have been captured.
It's volumetric video captures. I knew that was the term, and I just couldn't think it. So it's basically they've done it in a 3D way, so that you can walk around these scenes and you get it from all. They have done it in proper 3D to record it, and the way it's presented is really.
It's like they're sort of ghosts in the room, aren't they? They're like ghosts, like apparitions in the room that you can see and look around. And if you sort of walk into them, they kind of shimmer and disappear and stuff. So you've just got to stand back and just watch them. And you can replay them as well. You can, if you want to, if there's a way to replay the memory essentially. Yeah. But they look really good, and they're well acted as well. And the actors, they're the proper actors that are doing it, and it's not like some cheesy voiceovers or anything. Their performances, you can tell they're proper actors that they're doing, that are putting their heart into it and stuff.
Yeah, the voice acting's excellent. The storytelling's excellent. The score is excellent. I think the music and the setting is brilliant.
So it's not just the voice acting; it's the performances as well. Like you can see their expressions and their. It's very much like I said it before. It's like being on a play in the theatre almost, where you're on stage with them. Like that's where it struck me as like, because you're going through this mansion. And it's like you're going through the different performances that are being played out for you, and you've got to solve it. It's really like Glass Onion, if anyone's seen that on Netflix. It reminds me, you feel like the guy, Daniel Craig character, and there's this kind of some sort of genius person who's like set up this elaborate puzzles and sort of games for you to solve and stuff, and presumably people are going to start getting murdered and stuff. I don't know. I'm not that far in it. But yeah, it feels it's that sort of setup. So if you enjoy that kind of thing and trying to solve these mysteries and so on, you will work out what's going on here and who's got, who's the victim, who's the murderer, or what's going on. Trying to uncover the stories behind all these people. It's absolutely that's what it's doing. So it's brilliant. I love it.
And a thing that's also very clever to me is the rooms are themed to the characters. So the puzzles. So you'll explore these rooms, and it could be the kitchen, it could be the games room, it could be the music room, it could be the dining room. and the puzzles in those rooms are themed to the type of room that you're in, and it's the same as like all the different bedrooms that the characters are stayed in. They're themed to those characters, and the puzzles are themed to them, so it like sticks. It's just like each bit feels very compact, which I think is really nice. It's nice even that way. Like, probably my one criticism of the game is it can be a little bit fiddly with the controls. There's definitely a little. It's almost a little too intricate, but it's quite nice where you can go and pull the door handle and open the door handle, and it's all very immersive. But
I found
it can
that
be a little fiddly.
I found that if you pull the trigger, because you know when you have the controllers in your hands and they've got the touch, you can feel if your fingers are on it and stuff. And if you squeeze the triggers and put your finger on the thumb pads, it just leaves your index finger, and then it's much easier to sort of point and prod and be specific of what you actually want to touch. Because sometimes it's like you touch 2 or 3 things at the same time, and it's like some of these, as you say, some of these puzzles are very intricate. You have to sort of slide and move things around and stuff. So if you just have it so it's just your index finger that you can then prod things with, it's much easier to be precise.
I think probably just one other thing that I would call. Oh, sorry, Reece, on you go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the main question I've had for it is, how does the puzzles compare on this to the Room VR? Because I heard you compared it to that, but in the sense of like the difficulty of puzzles, how do they compare? Did you find the Room more difficult, or are you finding this?
They start off quite easy and they get harder. They definitely get harder. But I wouldn't say they're obtuse. I think they're a nice level of difficult.
Okay.
And probably quite inventive and not.
Oh, okay.
They're not too samey. You're not like doing the same things over and over again at any point, which I think, given how many puzzles there are, is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of the puzzles are things that you'd recognise from outside of it. Like there's that one room where you have to sort of slide the graves around, Alex. You know, in one of the bedrooms where you slide and like that. I've done that before that's quite a common sort of puzzle game mechanic and stuff.
Yeah.
Where you're sort of sliding things around in order to get something out of a.
But there's like one of the characters is a magician, and they've got puzzles based off a magician's hat. I don't know if you've got to that one or not.
Yeah, I've done that.
That one's quite good. Like it's just they're just because they're themed to the characters, it keeps them all a bit different, which I think is quite nice. And even the kitchen ones are based around food. Like the music rooms about music, the games rooms around like chess.
I think the puzzles are, compared to the room. The room is a bit more like find the object and then find the shape that it goes into, and then that opens something, and then you take that into the other room, and it's a bit more you're walking around and sort of that goes into there, and I found a thing that goes over here, and then that unlocks this, and that. Whereas it's not they're more self-contained in this. Yeah, in this, they're more kind of self-contained. Like you'll come up to a table and there'll be a puzzle on the table to solve, and then you'll go into another part of the room and there'll be kind of something in the puzzle that you have to solve. So it's not so much like kind of like room scale puzzles in the way that is.
At least it doesn't make you keep wanting to walk around and get lost and think, okay, maybe something's over here when it's actually not. I'm happy to hear that, because that's one thing I do find on puzzle games. I end up going, well, if I've got free reign to move around, I end up looking everywhere, and then I'll be looking somewhere where it's not.
I found the hint system's useful because you pull it up on, you've got a sort of menu thing that you can hold up in your hand, and it's the maps on there, and there's the menus on there, and like an inventory type thing that shows you how many collectibles and stuff you found. And on the hint system, because it's got the kind of the puzzle names laid out, and that for me was like, okay, because there's some things I didn't realise. Okay, that's the puzzle over there. Okay, because just the room, it looks like a natural room, and then you have to re-inspect stuff closely. You think, oh, hold on a minute, this isn't a quilt. There's actually a puzzle in this. I hadn't noticed at first. It's only when you see the name of the stuff that's almost the first hint, just by getting the name of it, and then that kind of helps you find it. And then if you then look at the first couple of clues, they're not really, they don't spoil it, so they're quite good. If you just think, I've got no idea what is going on with this, I'm sure kind of, rather than wasting time just feeling stupid, you can just look at the first hint is just very much like someone just giving you a very, very gentle, like, just to get your thinking on the right track kind of thing. It doesn't give it just tell you what to do. Second one is a bit more, okay, now it is giving you more of a tighter steer, and then after that I think it solves it. So the hint system I thought was quite good.
Yeah. And I think just finally on it, the one thing that there's a really nice touch that when you've solved the puzzle in the room, it restores it to its old. Like, you know how that way the lantern goes to the way it should be? When you've solved all the puzzles, it restores the room back to the way it was. So it basically shows you how polished the game is. You might find at times that you think the game is quite soft, but it's not, and it's actually all restored in the mansion. It's really quite pretty and quite polished. So yeah, I haven't quite finished it because I have experienced a little bug, which I've reached out to Vertical Games about, and I'm not going to elaborate on that because I do think it's very much an isolated issue, and I'm not going to cause too much noise about it, and I will finish it. But this for me is a must play, absolute must play.
It's good to
Yeah,
hear.
I mean, on that, I saw Push Square reviewed it, and they complained that there was bugs and stuff, and the team reached out and added in the comments saying, "Yeah, this has all been fixed now. We fixed all this with a day one patch, so just let everyone know that these ones have all been sorted." So again, it's like, oh man, could you not have got that stuff before you sent it out to review?
But in fairness, I think some of the things that Push Square then called out were in the review notes to say that it was a non-issue. So I would push some of that back on Push Square as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I just think their review was a bit. I mean, they've been a bit negative about VR in general, haven't they?
Yeah.
Or the headset in general, they've been a bit disparaging about it and stuff. So yeah, I didn't think the review was. It was quite a off the cuff. It seemed like review. It wasn't very in depth about anything, and which is a shame because I think this is well worth people's time, well worth people's attention. I've really enjoyed the first few hours of it that I've played, and I know from talking to you, Alex, that you've enjoyed it. How long have you been playing it? How long would you say it takes to beat?
I'm about 4 hours in, maybe a bit longer than that. I think I played just over 4 hours. I think I'm still only about 9 of 17 rooms or something, so I think I still have quite a bit of time to get through. So I think you're maybe looking at 6-7 hours.
I suppose
so
with these
decent
games,
amount.
well, a lot of it comes down to how quick you are at solving puzzles, and if you're really stupid or if you're just stubborn, you're not going to use the hints. You just no, I'm not going to. I will sit there and stare at this until the solution comes. It's going to take you much longer.
In fairness, I maybe have spent a wee bit of time trying to solve my bug as well. So that's maybe a little bit inflated.
But no, again, this is the sort of VR game I want to play. I like these interactive puzzle-based things where you are fully in a setting. Again, that mansion setting it creates is really, really well done, really believable. The music and the sound, it's so atmospheric. That's to me, it's just that atmosphere it brings up, it conjures up with everything is really well done, and the puzzles are fun to do. And again, it's the sort of thing that you could only would work in VR. You couldn't. This game, I just wouldn't enjoy this in a non-VR set. You wouldn't be able to do a lot of these puzzles because in most of these puzzles involve quite intricate manipulation of things with your hands, the controllers. You just couldn't do it even in a first-person game.
Yeah.
So yeah, strongly high recommendation for me on this one. If we go to our scale of things, the grumpy old man thing, you can play it all sitting down, can't you? Quite easily.
I've kind of jumped between seated and standing, but yeah, it's
I
fine.
play standing because I think it's easier because some things you have to kind of lean into or kind of really if you want to sort of look around things, it's easier to stand up and sort of lean over with things and to reach into stuff. It's easier to do it if you're standing up. It feels just a bit more. Your character is standing and walking through this environment anyway, so it feels a bit more realistic standing up. There's no vomit. The comfort settings. You can teleport or you can walk naturally and stuff. So it's not quite good comfort settings. And yeah, it's for me. I think it's definite stamp of approval. I think it's a good game. I think it's only would work in VR.
I mean, from the perspective of me that I've not played it, and you're selling it. To be fair, I'm actually intrigued, especially because you compared it to the room, and I really enjoyed that one. So I think I'm going to have to give it a go.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's probably a good time to wrap things up then. So thanks everyone for listening, and thanks Reece for joining us. It's been really good to have you on.
Pleasure.
And people listening, if you've enjoyed this episode, please tell your family and friends about us. And if you'd like to get more involved, please do not hesitate to jump into our Discord. It's a great place just to meet other like-minded VR folk like ourselves. Last but not least, thanks once again to our patrons for supporting the work we do. I've been your host, Laurie. These two have been Alex and Reece, and we will see you again next time. Until then, though, it's goodbye.